Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. Now, I'm sure many of you will be seeing these ads that are running constantly with one big celeb or the other endorsing a product, saying this is what you should buy, this is what you should eat, this is how you should travel, this is what you should see. Now, the question is, supposing that ad isn't completely correct, or there's a fault in it, or that product doesn't exactly do what it's supposed to do, should that celebrity be punished or not? And one of the recommendations that has come up from a standing committee in Parliament is that the celebrity should not only be punished, but perhaps even sent to jail. Now, the cabinet is thinking about it. They're trying to make up their mind. Is it a good thing to do, a bad thing to do? And a process of consultation is on. So while the government is consulting everyone about this, we said, let's just cut to the chase and get all the experts we can think of on one panel out here on The Big Fight. And let's try and understand whether this is a good idea or a bad idea to make celebrities accountable for any ad that they do. And joining us right here, it's a great pleasure to have with us Sameer Soni. Put your hands together. Who's no doubt slightly concerned about the consequences if this thing actually is pushed through. Sunita Narayan, standing out here, feels that there should be, in general, a lot of accountability in life. Suhail Seth, who's never been accountable for anything or would hate to be held accountable for anything. I don't know how many ads you're doing, though, Suhail, but the very prospect of having you, well, dragged off for something
I'm endorsing a rival television channel. But the nation will know later.
You deserve to be arrested for that on a point of principle. But anyway, let me move on. Bejon Mishra, an international consumer expert, will say why he thinks that consumers need to be protected. Dilip Cherian, an image consultant, will say that this is all crazy stuff which was being considered. And Mohandas Pai joining us from Bangalore, who again feels that there should be a lot of accountability. So let me come to all of you and get your opening thoughts. Sameer, what do you feel?
Well, firstly, I think it's unfair.
Tihar jail in case you have endorsed something and it's not quite correct. That's it.
I think before we
jail, prison.
Yeah, there go my EMIs. So no, okay. I think before we decide
EMIs for Tihar jail, it's free
for my accommodation. Now, okay. I think before we decide whether celebrities should be accountable, what is the extent of accountability, we need to understand what the process is. What exactly, when you see, say, well, I won't take any names, a big celebrity endorsing something on television, what is the process? Okay. So the basic process is maybe a manufacturer who provides goods or services, want to sell my goods and services, right? So I have my team that comes together, a marketing team. Say, hey, look, we need to sell this. What do we do? All right. We come with a strategy and say, okay, this is how we should position our goods. This is the competition. These are our target audience. We talk to ad agencies. They give their input. And they say, okay, you know what? I think that celebrity, if he lends, operational word being, lends his name or his face or his voice, it might be a good marriage. All right. And let's do it. And then they pump in tons and tons of money so that you can see that ad over and over and over again. Now, you as a consumer, see that ad. You probably, if you're not impressed, you don't buy it. If you're impressed, you go ahead and buy it, right? If you're satisfied, you're still okay. If you're not satisfied, now you don't know who the marketing head or, should I continue? So if you're not satisfied with the product or the service provided, you don't know who the CEO of the company is. You don't know who the marketing head is, who the advertising guy is. You know that man whose face you saw. And you say, you know what? He's the man. Because of him, I bought the product, so he is responsible.
So therefore, what's wrong with holding that person, man or woman, what's wrong with holding that person accountable?
That is absolutely incorrect. You did not buy the product or the service because of that individual. If that was the case...
You might have.
No, hang on. Let me finish. Because if that was the case, every celebrity endorses about hundreds of products. You'd be buying each one of them. You don't.
You might.
No, but you don't.
But you might.
No, hang on. The point is that celebrity plays a small role. He might be paid a couple of crores and you say, hey man, he's getting paid for it. But the whole campaign has the marketing guys, the hundreds of crores that are spent who play an important, perhaps a far more important role. So to isolate...
Okay, so hold all of them accountable. That's fine also. Now, Sunita, I'm not disagreeing entirely with what you're saying, but I'm just sort of getting everyone's point of view and then we can really dive into it. Sunita, why go after the celebrity who is only in his words, lending his or her name.
And taking money for it and endorsing it and providing, in a sense, the message to the rest of the world that my name, I'm an icon, I'm a sports icon, I'm a film icon, I'm somebody who you believe in. You're using that space, you're using that trust between the public and you and saying, I'm standing behind this, and so please go ahead and buy it, drink it, eat it, because it is good for you. I'm saying so. But you know, Vikram, I actually don't agree. I disagree completely, because I also feel that in some way, celebrities are already accountable. If you look at the current law, the one that is in front of government has drafted the amendment law. You will see the government has no intentions of actually passing it to make sure that it has any teeth. Because in the very next line of the law says, if the celebrity has done due diligence before they have endorsed the product, they are not liable anymore. Now, with smart people like Sohail around, due diligence will be easy to prove. To my mind, the government has no intentions of making sure this has any teeth. But I think all over the world, you do need to make sure that celebrities are held accountable, and like Pulela Gopichand, who's the only sports person in this country who said he will not endorse a particular drink brand because it is not good for sports person.
That's okay. That's his viewpoint.
Hundreds of cases that you don't hear about.
That's his viewpoint. Okay, now let me give you another example.
Lots of examples. Trust me, there are lots of examples.
You need that to become part of the regulation.
Should they do due diligence? Perhaps. But I mean, let's look at some of the specific things. So, hey, let me get you in on this. Now, for example, just take one example. Take Dhoni, for example, who was trolled and got into a lot of, there was a reputational issue. There was a real estate company saying that, looks like a nice house. Now, if they don't deliver on time, can you necessarily hold him responsible?
Yeah.
So
how is it his fault that they didn't deliver it on time?
So many years ago, David Ogilvy said, the consumer is not a moron, she's your wife. So you're almost abrogating and abdicating all sense of responsibility on the part of the consumers. I mean, if a consumer is stupid enough to buy an apartment because a film actor or a sports person endorses it, I mean, the consequences are there. Now, there are two critical points which Sunita has touched upon, which I want to expand on. Personally, having been in the business of marketing, I've always been against endorsements of any kind. Because if a brand is good, a brand sells on its own. Having said that, there are two personal issues I have. People who are actually endorsing tobacco, social taboos like fairness creams, that to my mind is a no-no, because you're perpetrating a particular form of societal taboo even further. Having said that,
and that's a valid point to take, and celebrities shouldn't do it, and by the way, their television
and they're
channels
being
they
challenged.
don't.
Having said
we
that,
do not accept fairness cream ads. We
having
just don't do it as a matter of policy.
Having said that, you tell me due diligence in what form? Suppose I'm a film actor and I've endorsed a particular car, and tomorrow there is an issue with the airbag, and say 3,000 cars are recalled, or there's, God forbid, an accident. You're not going to blame the actor. Is there no sense of responsibility on behalf of the marketer or the producer of those goods? Is there no sense of responsibility on the intermediaries who at times tinker? You've seen a problem with Volkswagen across the world.
So that's why I'm saying, how far can that responsibility
here's my thing.
go?
Celebrities must have the fear of God in choosing well, but if you believe that they will go through a process of due diligence, then we are miles away, because the people who are involved are talent management agencies who don't have a clue. They are there only to get the next murga or the next bakra. I mean, bakra and murga is not beef, so it's permissible. They are not interested in anything but their commissions. The actors have a use by date.
So they are therefore being driven entirely by money in this. Now let me get you into it.
I mean, tomorrow if a tiger dies, will I blame you and Mr. Bachchan because of the tiger-thon? I won't. I mean, I have to be stupid. Yeah, well, see.
Not exactly endorsing it.
Well, there you are. So it's a tricky answer.
I'm not quite sure where that particular illusion refers to.
One of Sohail, I would not. I think he's taken it a bit too far.
I'm not endorsing a tiger-making factory right now. It's okay. It's that you're stretching it a little bit. But okay, let me ask you. He essentially says, look, the consumer should not be a moron. Essentially, for the consumer to exercise his or her own diligence. Just because you should not be buying something just because you see a film star or a sports star or somebody saying that, yeah, this is a great product.
And Vikram, they
Would
don't.
you agree with them?
They don't
No, they
necessarily
don't.
buy
They
just
don't. So-
because of that.
So
We
no,
are-
no,
we are-
they
we are-
don't.
it's
So
a-
they don't.
it's
So
a
consumer is
clutter
never
of
a
stupid
moron.
They're not
mechanism,
stupid.
Consumer is never a moron. It's a wrong definition of a consumer. Consumer is innocent. Gets carried
That
away.
innocent.
That innocent that they get really carried away by wrong messaging, unethical practices which are adopted today in our country, which is not accepted globally.
Okay.
Which is not accepted in the same country where they belong to.
Okay.
When they come to market in our country, they start marketing in a
hang
manner.
on. There are two aspects to this. One, can a consumer sometimes be innocent enough to fall for a wrong claim that is made? The second is, will a consumer ever be innocent enough to say, oh, I'm going to buy that car just because so-and-so is saying that it's nice?
The point which we are making is it's a complete marketing process. As a part of the marketing process, they engage with endorsers who are very well known, good faces, to get a recall value of that product. When the consumer is going to buy that product, at the end of the day, when he reaches that cutting edge, that is when you find plethora of those products right in the front row of the showroom, right in the front, with the face of that celebrity, to ensure that the celebrity.
And you think that it's correct, therefore, to jail the celebrity in case?
I would say that it is correct if the celebrity does not follow the rule and the law of the country. It
the
is
rule of the law
like any criminal
the
going
rule
behind
of the
the
law.
bar.
I mean,
So
if you
it
look
is-
at what
it
the
is-
standing committee is saying, if there is a fake or misleading endorsement, it's punishable by a jail term. And if the second
So why is
offense,
the law?
5
Why
years,
is the why is
5
that
years
language?
prison.
Let me give you the facts and figures. The language has got inserted because we have found people are irresponsible. People go ahead to do any kind of a messaging in an irresponsible manner, which actually leads to fraud, which leads to deception, which leads to disguise, which leads to misbehavior.
I get it,
So
I
which-
get-
what my point, Vikram, is that if they don't behave themselves and if they don't change their habits
I
in
get
terms
it.
of commerce or making a profit or
I'll
a
tell
big
you why.
deal,
I'll
they
tell you
need
why
to
I'm
go
asking.
behind bars.
So let me tell you why I'm asking this question. I completely would agree with him. If there is anybody who's bringing out fraudulent, now there are two things. One are ads that are ethically and morally
Factually.
wrong, right? And you should say you should not be doing this. So if
That's
anybody is advertising, I don't know,
Junk
cocaine
food.
usage, or for that matter, you may feel strongly about fairness ads or whatever it is. You may say these are morally wrong. You shouldn't be doing it, and therefore you exercise that due diligence. The question is, if it is misleading, yes, the company may know that this is misleading, or we're telling a fib out here. Can a celebrity always be able to tell that?
See, Vikram, this as an opening statement, let me just say there are three things we have to look at. One is that this is a very clever means by both politicians and bureaucrats to draw the attention away from themselves, because it is testing organizations that should know whether a noodle has something bad in it or not, or whether a drink has something bad or not. Second thing, there is this wonderfully delightful actress who's endorsing a certain airline at the moment, which is in your face all the time. God forbid it crashes. Are you going to arrest her? This is stupid. And the third thing is that if government thinks that fairness creams and tobacco should not be made, are they so concerned about collecting excise duty that they can't stop its manufacture? If it's downright dangerous, stop it.
And the
If you
government
know
of
it.
India
Now
owns
the
their
point
own
is
police
you're
wrong direction.
dancing,
We are-
you're
it's going in the
dancing
wrong
between,
direction. We are
you're
not talking
dancing
about
between,
we are not talking about
you're
accidents.
dancing
We are not
between-
talking about unforeseen circumstances. We are talking about established facts.
You're-
We are talking about science. We are talking about
talking
evidences.
about the
We are
same
talking
moron.
about
Okay.
issues
talking
which
about
are
the
well
same
well
moron.
settled.
You have
That is
Suhail-
what
let me-
Suhail
let-
referred
let's
to.
come to- let's
We
come
are
to-
not talking about
You've got to be-
accidents.
we
We
have
are
any
not talking
arbitrary.
about unforeseen
Let's come to-
circumstances.
let's come to
We are
a
talking
piece of
about
it. You're gonna get a heart
promoting
attack.
such
You've got to be
messages
really
which are
serious.
established, which are science-based, which has got
But what is
all the
science-based? Hang on.
You've got to be really
Do you have any
serious.
sorbitry in the house?
False
talking
and
about
misleading.
criminal offense.
Suhail-
We are
False-
talking about you
Suhail
practicing
talked about the
something
moron.
which is we
Now,
are talking
you-
about
you can
something
probably recognize
which we are
that now.
practicing.
See, what
which-
is false and
so,
misleading?
So the point is, we are not talking about something. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Do you have
Let
sorbitry?
me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Advertising Standard Council of India, that belongs to a group of industry people who
No,
have
it does
on their
not.
own who have on their own.
This guy knows nothing.
I'm on the
Everything
advertising
is being talked of. He has no
I'm on the
idea.
advertising
He
standards
has no
council.
clue.
How can you say this?
Dilip was part of the board of that
but
organization.
how can
so
he say that?
He
I
should
don't-
know better.
No,
but let me tell you,
I don't
let
have
me tell
anything
you,
to do with advertising.
as a member of the Consumer Complaint Council, which happens to be a neutral body within the industry, you would be amazed to know that even after having that code of conduct, the industry still goes on violating the code of conduct.
So I tell you, look, okay, let me give you an example from my own industry.
Yeah.
You can, what do you mean by false and misleading? Today, you will have a situation where just about any channel you ever will switch on will say, oh, we are number one for XYZ reason. You look at the fine print, you'll come to all the details of it. This
In
is between
Meerut, within 3
8
streets.
p.m. and 8:15
In those
p.m.
So
among
people have complained.
women
People have
between the
complained about
ages
that.
of 15 and 25
people
with
have
beards.
complained
So
about
that's
that.
when you find it. So that's
Vikram,
what happens.
Vikram,
So who
people
should
have
go to jail?
people have.
So that's what I'm saying, who
I'm
should go to
coming
jail for
that.
that?
So I'm coming to that.
Now, no, hang on a minute.
Does the media that
Can I
carries
speak
the
for a
ad
minute?
also got to go to jail?
What is
yes,
false
one
and
minute,
misleading?
I'll come
What
to
is
that.
false
I'll
and
come to
misleading?
I'll come to that.
Supposing
No,
there
one
is a
minute,
car-
I'll come to that. I'll
Why
tell
don't you call him for a separate program? I have one quick point to make
No,
based
no,
on what he just said.
No.
No.
1 minute. yeah.
He's
Hear
the
me.
Can I ask him a question?
Hear
You
me.
ask a question.
No, because you
Can
only
I ask a
allow one
question?
person to
He
speak.
gives-
yeah.
he-
Can I ask him a
Zero
question?
knowledge on this
It is
subject.
not
So
I who's giving the
nobody
time.
is
It's
ever,
anchor which gives the time.
nobody ever thinks that Sohail will not be able to speak. So I'll give
We
you a
are
chance.
well
for a
behaved. We are well brought up people from Calcutta.
I will go
Now-
with
Not
what
a
Vikram will
well-behaved
tell me to
person
do.
from-
I will just
I
tell
will
you.
go with what you will tell
I
me.
will tell you
Can
one
I
thing.
just ask you a simple question? False and misleading, let's arrest the celebrity. Now here there is a claim, a car says, we are going to go from a 0 to 80 in 3.9 seconds, right? Now somebody comes along and tests it and saying, well, actually it was 3.98 seconds. I'm giving you a hypothetical example, right? Now you say, haha, that was false, that was misleading. Now the film star who said that, who endorsed that car, let's go and arrest him. And what's going to happen is, there will be people who will be filing cases
It's not
in
like that. The law is not saying that.
Gorakhpur
No,
and in
no,
Jharkhand
Don't
and
misquote the law.
you know,
Vikram, the law is not saying that. The law is saying that if there is any kind of an abuse of the provision of the law, all the people who are in the chain
Stakeholders.
of promoting this would be taken to task. If there is an endorser, then the endorser will also be taken to task as much as the manufacturer and also the
but that's what
dealers
I'm
and
questioning.
also the,
That's why I'm
this is all-
questioning whether
so-
that's going to be direct. Can I
so
get
what-
Mohandas Pai in? Srinita, before I come back to you and Suhail as promised, Mohandas Pai, let me get your thoughts on it. One of the issues of being not in the studio when it is this fiery is that you sometimes don't get a chance to speak.
No, Vikram, I believe celebrities who endorse products endorse it as celebrities. They get paid money for such endorsement. In the eyes of a law, they are experts who call upon people to buy based upon what they do. And because they endorse, people believe them. They're led up a path to buy. And if they mislead people without doing full due diligence, if they have not done the homework to come to a conclusion that whatever is said there is correct as per their information, they should be made
As per
liable.
their information.
The
Samir,
liability
now,
is
okay,
joint
okay,
and several. Let me finish. The liability is joint and several. Somebody made a remark that, oh, what about the product manufacturer? Yes, all the people who are part of this endorsement, including the company, the manufacturing people, the ad agency, everybody should be held liable because they're doing something which is wrong and misleading people. I think the law of torts on this is very, very clear. They should be liable. They're not doing it free. And nobody asked them to endorse anything. They come
Samir.
forward, get money to endorse. Let them not endorse. There is no force compelling them to endorse. If you don't like it, don't endorse
can I get
it. If
Samir
you want
in
to
here?
endorse it, do your homework.
Look, we are crediting the audience with very little intelligence. When a celebrity, for example, wears an underwear, bashes 10 goons, the audience knows that's an ad. It's been around for centuries. They don't believe if you wear the underwear, you'll bash 10 people. They know that. They never, if Mr. Okay, I won't take the person's name, he puts a certain cream on his heels and it heals, we know he's an actor.
Silly to go to
We
court
know,
on that
wait,
ad.
let me finish.
Please don't
We know
misguide
that. We are
people.
not
Nobody
that
will be silly
stupid.
there.
We are not, wait a minute. The celebrities never, celebrities are just billboards. And the bigger the celebrity, the bigger the billboard, you can't hold him accountable for what is put on him.